This week, our castaway is the singer, Grace Bumbry. Miss Bumbry, what have you been doing on your present visit to London? I know you've been singing Richard Strauss's Salome at Covent Garden. What else?
Yes, but when I first came here, we did the opera Don Carlos, where I sang the role of Princess Abley. There were 6 performances of that.
You're a fairly frequent visitor to London nowadays.
Yes, I am, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Now, the first of your 8 desert island discs, what should it be?
The first, I believe, would be Errol Garner, Teach Me Tonight, I'd like, from his concert by the sea.
Mm-hmm. Why do you choose that?
It's something really quite special for me because way back when I was a student at Boston University, it was one of my very favorite songs. This was 1955. And it's something quite very special and very private for me.
Errol Garner, Teach Me Tonight. Did you find it hard to choose just 8 records to last what may be a long, long time?
Yes, that's really quite a chore because there's so many other things that one could choose. I mean, there's so many beautiful things, so many things that are impressive, but you have to stop somewhere. And as I love piano music and I love cello and I love also orchestral music, I didn't really know what to do. But I think my main instrument would be the piano and the voice. So those are the 2 categories that I chose from.
How well could you adapt yourself to loneliness for a long time?
Oh, I could get along for a long time because I'm accustomed to being alone. As a little girl, I was always alone because I was the only daughter in the family. I have 2 brothers who are older, and they were always busy doing boys' things, and I had to entertain myself. So I can get along very well on the island as long as I have my records and my books.
What's your second record?
The Impromptu in G-flat major, the Schubert Impromptu, done by Dino Lipatti.
Why?
In 1960, I was engaged in Basel at the Opera House there, and I happened to turn the radio on one afternoon, and I heard this pianist playing. And I thought, who is that? It's absolutely fantastic. I'd never heard such a beautiful, beautiful piano before. And at the end of the program, they said that it was Dino Lipatti, and it was in commemoration for his 10th year of death. All right, so I went immediately out that next day, and I found up all the Lipatti records I could find. And of the records that I have of Lipatti's, this is my very favorite one.
Dino Lipatti playing the opening of the Schubert Impromptu in G-flat major. What part of the United States do you come from?
I'm born in St. Louis, Missouri, the Middle West.
Mm-hmm. A musical family?
Well, professionally not, but yes, quite musical. My mother sang, my father sang. My father plays the piano and organ. My brother Charles plays the trombone. Benjamin plays the drums. I play the drums. And
that's a
Benjamin
musical-
sings. Yes, I
that's
think
a
it's quite
musical
musical.
family.
There's a lot of noise around our house. A lot of noise.
What did you start with? The piano?
I started with the piano, yes.
Were you put to it, or did you take to it?
I was put to it.
How old
But I
were you?
didn't mind. I mean, later on, I didn't mind it. But at the very beginning, I really was very hard put to take those studies. But after 4 years, I think I began to like it. When you get past the scales and learning how to make the chords and the harmonies and all that, then you started playing proper songs. Then it was fine.
And you sang in the church choir.
Yes, I did, and I played in the drum and bugle corps.
Well done.
Yes, I did.
And then you were in the glee club at high school?
No. I was not even admitted to the glee club.
What?
They turned me down. But I was a member of the a cappella choir a year later.
Yes.
Which was a step higher.
Oh, that's good. And you sang on the local radio station. How did that
Yes.
come about?
Well, I did an audition for a competition among all the high school students in St. Louis. I mean, about 500 students, I think they were, of all the schools in St. Louis. And I was chosen as the winner. And, of course, then I was to do 2 weeks of radio work there. And then I was sent off to New York to audition for the Arthur Godfrey Show. And I was winner of the Arthur Godfrey Show. And then, well, I did some television work there and radio work there in New York. And then things began to move on.
Yes.
And as a result of this Arthur Godfrey Show, I received a scholarship to Boston University. And then I went from Boston University to Northwestern University, and then that's where I met Madame Lehmann, Lotte Lehmann.
Yes. What did you sing on the Arthur Godfrey Show?
I did O Don Fatale from Don Carlos. Oh, that's my war horse. Whenever I auditioned for anything, I used O Don Fatale, and it always worked.
Fine. Let's have your third record. What now?
My third record would be Casta Diva from Norma, sung by Maria Callas.
Maria Callas as Bellini's Norma. Now, you mentioned that fabulous name, Lotte Lehmann. She was teaching at Northwestern University, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. She gave actually a 2-week master class there at Northwestern. And I was one of the students to audition for her classes, and she accepted me as one of the students. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, of course, she returned to California, because she was teaching at the Music Academy of the West in Santa Barbara. So finally, I wrote her a letter to see if I could matriculate there in the summer, and I was accepted as a student, and I was given a scholarship there for the 3 years, as a matter of fact. So I studied with Madame Lehmann from 56 through 59, both with her as well as with the regular academic course as well.
Yes, and she brought you to London as her protege when she was giving some master classes here.
Yeah, that was in 1959 in, I think, May or June.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were a mezzo at that time.
Yeah, I suppose I was.
Well,
she said I was.
You
My
thought.
voice teacher said I was a soprano, but, Madame Lehmann, I think, was far more powerful, and I was in great awe of her. So what she said at that time, of course, was the gospel truth,
You caused quite a sensation when you were heard at those master classes at the Wigmore Hall. You followed them up by doing a recital of your own
Yes, I
in
did.
the same hall.
Yeah.
What was the next step?
If I remember correctly, we went from London to Vienna, and I studied the art of oratorio with Eric Werber. And then from there, we went to Bayreuth, just to see the whole music scene there, the whole music atmosphere together, gather up some of that. In Bayreuth, and then to Salzburg. And then when I was in Salzburg, I took part in one of those master classes of Eric Werber. And then took part in a contest they always have for the students there, and I won, and I had to sing a concert with the orchestra, and then I was engaged to sing at the Opera House in Basel as a result of that concert.
You signed up, I believe, for 2 years so that you could really learn the repertoire.
That's right, I did.
And then you were invited back to Bayreuth to sing.
Yes, I was invited back to Bayreuth to sing in 1961. And the role of Venus. And, actually, when I went there to Bayreuth in 1959, I certainly didn't go there with the thought in mind of ever singing in Bayreuth. It just never dawned on me to sing in Bayreuth. And then a year later or so, a year or two later, I was asked to come and audition for Wieland Wagner. And at that time, I didn't really have anything German to sing. And can you just imagine me going to Bayreuth in this temple and singing in an Italian aria, and that's what I did. I sang O Don Fatale again, you see, my war horse.
Yes. And they cast you as Venus
They cast me as
Tannhäuser.
Venus, yeah.
Right, record number 4.
Shirley Bassey singing Feelings. I love the words to this song. And I like Shirley Bassey's interpretation because I find it very feminine, and I like also the beat.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings, trying to forget my feelings of love.
Shirley Bassey. Now, you still had to make a major debut in the United States.
Yes. The very first one, of course, I say, was in 1958 at the Palace of the Legion of Honor in San Francisco on the occasion of Madame Lehmann's 70th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was at the White House for John F. Kennedy. And I think it was a dinner with the Chief Justice. And it was also the same day that we had a successful flight to the moon.
Uh-huh. Well, that was quite a day for you.
Yes, it was. But my professional operatic debut in the Metropolitan in America was in 1965.
Mm-hmm.
And that was as Eboli in Don Carlos.
When did you decide that you were really a soprano?
I never really decided it. I just decided to sing those things that fit my voice. At one time, my voice was lower. I don't know whether I also spoke lower, whether I just sang lower. I don't know. But there came a point when I felt that this particular opera I wanted to sing. I studied it. It fit my voice, and I sang it. Then I really think that people saw or heard something in my voice which I didn't hear. And this was already back in 1963, because in 1963, in Basel, they already asked me to sing Lady Macbeth. Mm. And for someone to have been engaged in Opera House as a mezzo, I found that to be rather strange that they would ask me to sing Lady Macbeth, which I did. And then during that same period, the Paris Opera wanted me to sing Salome. So, there must be some reason. They can't all be stupid. And then I remember Maestro Böhm even said that I was not a mezzo. I thought, well, everybody has their opinion, but I never really gave it any serious thought of expanding my repertoire until around about 1968.
This needed some rethinking, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And not just rethinking vocally, but also I find that as a mezzo, you sing, and your whole feeling, your whole being is one way. And as a soprano, you're a completely different type. I find as a mezzo, you kind of, I don't know, kind of bossy and kind of, I don't know, half tough, you know. But as a soprano, you're rather vulnerable and kind of sweet.
So you've dropped a lot of roles.
Yes, I have. I've dropped almost all of the mezzo roles except for Eboli and Amneris. Mm-hmm. And I think for very special reasons. First of all, because my operatic debut was with Amneris. And, of course, Eboli I find to be very special, and it always has been very special for me. Plus the fact that both of these roles I do not find to be really typical mezzo roles, because I find the tessitura is very high, even though you have some very low moments. And if you know how to sing, you can get away with singing these two roles, even as a soprano.
Record number 5, what's that to be?
Number 5, I think I would like Alexander Slobodianek in a Chopin Scherzo number 3 in C-sharp minor.
Alexander Slobodianek, Chopin's Scherzo number 3 in C-sharp minor. What about new opera roles? What are you learning at the moment? What have you got in mind?
I have yet to learn Africaine for Covent Garden for next season.
That's going to be exciting. Looking forward to that.
I am too. I'm looking forward to it very much, and for my own reason. It's going to sound very strange. But, you know, in the operas that I sing, I always have to make my face and my body makeup very light. Now, Africaine, I don't have to do that. And in Aida, I don't have to do that. So when I have to sing Africaine and Aida, I am in my 7th heaven. You know.
Yes, nice light nights for you.
Easy nights. Yeah.
And what are the other roles?
The other roles, let me think. I have my makeup roles. There's Turandot. There is Abigail from Nabucco. Elvira from Hernani.
So there's a lot of work for you.
Yeah.
Are you a quick study?
Yes, I am. I think through my knowledge of the piano.
As a singer, what sort of discipline do you impose on yourself? How much do you practice every day?
Well, I try to vocalize every day, certainly 20 minutes, except for the day after performance, because I don't want to tax the voice too much, because I feel that the voice has had enough work to do the night of a performance. So that next day I don't work. But then vocalizing comes every day that I don't have to sing. And then on days when I really have to learn music, then sometimes I have to study 4, 5, 6 hours. Not vocally all the time. I mean, I sit at the piano, and I might do memory work, or I might just learn things musically.
On a day when you're singing at night, I believe you maintain more or less absolute silence.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, ideally, I would say 36 hours before. For an opera like Salome, I like to have 36 hours of absolute quiet. And I don't talk on the telephone, I don't talk to anybody. Everything that is to be said is written.
Where is your home now?
Well, my home is still in Switzerland, in Lugano.
How much time can you spend there?
Not very much. Not very much. But one has to change their suitcases somewhere.
Yeah. Record number 6.
All right, number 6, I think would be Grande, Grande, Grande by Mina.
Who's Mina?
Well, Mina is an Italian pop singer. And I like the song very much because it's kind of sweet sour. It tells a lot about the Italian male.
Ma c'è di buono che al momento giusto tu sei grande, 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 le mie pene non me le ricordo più.
Mina singing Grande, Grande, Grande. Would you try to escape from this island?
If you had snakes and tarantulas, and then I would try to escape, yes, as best I could.
How practical are you? Could you look after yourself? Could you build a shelter, cook something for yourself?
Well, I don't know. If I don't have any hammers and nails and all that.
No hammers and nails and all that.
Well, I imagine I managed somehow to get a little hut up, but
Ever done any fishing?
yeah.
Where?
I would manage with the fish, I think.
You've done that?
Yeah, because I did some fishing once in the Bahamas with just a string, no bait at all, and I caught fish. There's a little hook, of course, there's a little hook thing, but I didn't have anything on it.
Oh, well done. You're
but
a
I
good
caught
fisherwoman.
So I think I'd manage, but how would I get my fire started, though?
Well, how would you get your fire started?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I better take a grim picture on that because I think I might starve. I think I just might starve before I got rescued. I'm sure I would get rescued at some point.
Of course, yes, we'd see to that. Let's have some more music.
All right. I think I'd like to have Perry Como sing for me. It's Impossible.
Why?
Well, the words are absolutely depictive. I don't have to tell you anything else.
Hold you closer to me and not feel you going through me. Split the second that I never think of you. Oh, how impossible.
Perry Como and some depictive words. Now, what's your last record?
Oh, my last record is Pleurer mes yeux, sung by Grace Bumbry, from the opera Le Cid.
This is one of your most recent recordings.
Yes, this is a recording we did last year at the Carnegie Hall in live performance. And I think it's really quite a beautiful recording.
Pleurer mes yeux from Massenet's Le Cid. And now I'm going to ask you to choose just one record out of the 8 you've chosen.
I think it would be Dino Lipati, the Schubert Impromptu.
And one luxury to take to the island with you.
Oh, I'd have to have a bottle of perfume.
Right.
At least one bottle.
At least one bottle. We'll give you a case or however they pack perfume.
All right.
And one book, apart from the Bible and Shakespeare, and we don't allow big encyclopedias either.
I would like the letters of Giuseppe Verdi. There's an awful lot of information in that book that could keep my mind occupied for a long length of time.
Right. The letters of Giuseppe Verdi, chosen, translated, and edited by Charles Osborne. And thank you, Grace Bumbry, for letting us hear your Desert Island discs.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, everyone.